Hello everyone, welcome to level 1 of NLG class. My name is Isabella and I will be your instructor for today. And of course, this class will be conducted entirely in English. So let me just do a real quick sound check. Okay, I think that everything is good. And if you're new here, if this is your first level 1 with NLG, then welcome. And if you're here to revise level 1 content, you're also welcome. And just a reminder of everyone is that while we attend this class, the structure of it will be, so I will first of all guide you through the basic introduction of NLG, what it is, and the energy that we're interested in, that we're using. And then, of course, afterwards, when we already know all of the core principles of NLG, then I will present to you the formulas, which is the actual things that we use to practice this energy. And then afterwards, I will activate you. And so what I mean by activate is that, of course, to use this energy is sort of like you need a master key to open a room. And so that's what it means by energy activation. And so there's 3 important parts to every NLG class. So make sure that you stay throughout the entire class so that you understand the content, you understand the theory of how energy works as a method, and then you know of the formulas that we present to you so that you can make the most out of those formulas. And of course, you need to get the energy activation so that you can actually use these formulas. All right, so any of you who are here just to revise this class level, let's say you have already completed level 1 before and you are still a level 1 participant, then throughout this class, you can receive the energy activation. That's okay, because it is of the same level. But let's say if you are a level 2, 3, 4, 5 participant and you're just here to listen to the content, just to refresh your memory a little bit, then make sure that throughout this class, you do not receive the energy activation, because I will activate level 1 participant only. It will be of the level 1 energy frequency. So if you receive it, it just means that you will then go back to level 1 frequency. So just be mindful of that. And we have posted the registration link for this level 1 as well as the upcoming level 2. So if you haven't registered, make sure that you go and do that after this class finish. The link will be on Facebook, and also we've posted it on our Telegram groups. And at the end of this class, I will also show you the Telegram QR code. And it's really important that you scan these codes, you got onto Telegram so that you can access the formulas. We will only post the formulas on Telegram for the best quality possible, because these formulas, they are quite wordy. So we can't really post anything that is, let's say a heavy file onto any other program. And so make sure that you join us by Telegram for that. And of course, make sure to follow, like, and subscribe to our page, NLG Energy University, on Facebook as well as YouTube, so that you can get the latest notification for live streams, classes, etc. All right, so just a little bit about me before we start. As I've already introduced, my name is Isabella, and I am a level 1 and 2 English instructor here at NLG. I started with NLG since 2021, and I worked my way up. I was a level 1 participant then, and then I worked my way up all the way now to level 5. And I'm still an NLG participant. I'm still, of course, learning and try to perfect my practice of NLG as well as the core elements of NLG, which I will be talking about in a few minutes with you. And so my experience with NLG has been really amazing. It has been really rewarding for myself as well as my family to see the changes that we can make for ourselves without, asking other people to have to change, and certainly making such a big difference that you feel so rewarding about, particularly in this really, chaotic world. That's something that's, I guess, really worthwhile for me, particularly as a participant. And so that's why I continue with NLG. And I was very lucky to get training to become an instructor. So that's why I'm here to share with you this information. And I will share with you things that I was able to learn when I was in level 1 participant. And I'm here to help you. So I'm not a teacher or anything like that. I'm also just a participant of NLG, and who have learned, who have experienced and loved NLG. And so I like to share it with you, to the like-minded people. And of course, I encourage that when you come into a method like this, have an open mind, be curious to learn about it. There will be new topics that we will touch on, and so it's always useful to come into a method having an open mind, and wanting to explore it as you go. And if there's something that you don't understand, ask your question. Certainly, that is a really good way to learn and to add to the knowledge that you already know, as well as to maybe sometimes challenge the things that you know. And so let's get started. All right, so, well, actually, before we get started, I would like to send everyone healing energy. And if you would like to receive healing energy from Mr. Lay later on, which I think it's about in 2 hours' time, then you're welcome to do that. And if that's what you wish to do, then you can continue with this class without receiving healing energy from me. Whereas if you would like to, just get some healing energy to refresh yourself, and for you to come into this class and make the most out of it, then you can do that as well. All right. So this is healing energy transmission. It is different from energy activation. So they are two very different things. So make sure that you understand that. And so basically healing energy is like the thing that Mr. Lay always transmit on a daily basis. So it is not the energy activation of a class level. And so to receive this healing energy, what you will do is you will look at my forehead. I will have my eyes closed the entire time when I transmit this healing energy to you. And what you do is you open your eyes, you put yourself in a very mindful state, and you just focus. Of course, you can blink, or if you cough or sneeze, that's okay. But just maintain that focus as you receive this energy from me. And so you look at my forehead, you visualize energy from my forehead going into yours, and let that energy absorb and spread throughout your body, however it, how, in whichever way that is, I guess, in a way, like to work with your system or with your body, to give you that extra support before we come into class. All right, so I will put my timer to 3 minutes and 30 seconds. It's how long I will transmit healing energy to you for. So as I've said, you will keep your eyes open, you look at my forehead, and you visualize energy from my forehead going into yours, receiving this healing energy transmission to have a fresh start to our class. Okay, so let's get started, everyone. All right, and we have completed with the healing energy transmission. So let's get started into the actual content of NLG. So just some basic introductions of NLG, everyone. It is a practice-based method that benefits you in many aspects of your life. And of course, if particularly in the case where you're interested and very curious to learn about it with genuine, love and respect. And so many people coming into NLG and they experience these benefits. And one of the first benefits that they experience is actually health improvements. Now, other than that, there are many other fields that NLG can benefit us with. Currently, there are 5 class level. There are 5 class level, and level 5 being the highest as of the current moment. In order to proceed to the next class, of course, you need to complete the previous class. So for example, if you want to go to level 2, then you need to complete both sessions of level 1. And level 1 consists of 2 sessions with 2 energy activations. So I'll transmit 1 energy activation to you today, and then we'll do another one tomorrow. And then when you get to level 2, that will be 1 session only. And you get to level 3, there'll be 3 sessions. Level 4 consists of 5 sessions, although the current level 4, which is the first online level 4 that we have, it actually consists of 6 sessions because we're doing it online. But usually for in-person level 4 classes, we have 5 sessions. And then when you get to level 5, that will be 13 sessions in total. Now, level 1 and 2 are generally completed online, just like what we're doing now. And Mr. Lei has created, lots of great opportunity for people to also access level 3 online. Right now, we're offering level 4 online, which is the first level 4 online class. We don't know when such an amazing occasion will arise again, but this time around, he decided to offer people that online class, which is really, really special. And then, of course, level 5, we will do that in person. So NLG can be accessed and learned by participants of all age range. Even children as young as 8 to 12 years old can already participate. But of course, when you have children participating in this method with you, there needs to be parental supervision, or else they would perhaps feel confused, or they are unsure of how to practice the formulas. They're unsure of how to interpret, these elements of love and morality that we will be talking about later on. And with that, some children might lose interest, which can be challenging for them to get back into this method later on because they're frustrated with that, they're losing interest and can't really see the point of doing it. And with that, they will miss out on this great opportunity. And certainly as parents, we don't want that. And we want to make sure that whenever our children go into a project, that they understand exactly the purpose of that project and that they are making progress as they learn it. So other than the 5 class level, we also have 3 special programs for you. So the first one is when we apply NLG to agriculture, and which this will benefit, a lot of people working in this area, as well as people who just have an interest, people who may not have experience in this field, but if you have an interest and if that's the projects that you want to work on to benefit humanity, to put forward reliable, clean, food and products, then that's certainly something that you can do. And the second one, it's when we assist couple to have intelligent, healthy babies, for parents to have a deeper understanding of how to enable that and nurture their baby from the very start, as well as to address the issues of infertility. And both of these programs requires participants to complete at least level 3 or above. And in particular, for the second program, which is the one to help people to have healthy baby, it is recommended that both partners need to participate so that you can maximize the potential outcome. And then the final program that we have is instructor training program. And in order to participate in that, you need to be from level 4 or above. So some important notes here is that NLG is a practice-based method, everyone. It means that you practice it every day. There needs to be quality and consistency in your practice. And it's something that you need to monitor by yourself. It's not that we're going to be there to supervise you or anything, but it is your own journey when you come into this and after we activate you. So you need to build that discipline. And certainly it is not an alternative treatment of any sort, and it should not replace your current medical treatment. So if you need to, certainly consult with your doctor and practice NLG alongside as a separate thing. And if you make good progress with NLG, then you can also inform your doctor so that they can look into that and maybe they can provide you with more appropriate treatment at certain points within your treatment plan. And of course, NLG is not political, it is not religious. So be mindful of that when you take this course and particularly when you share information with other people. We will be talking about topics that, as I've said, can be somewhat thought-provoking for some of you, but it is not from a religious or political perspective. So keep that in mind. And that's why I say that you need to have an open mind when you come into a method like this to really learn and understand and make the most out of it. So some basic points about our founder, Mr. Lê. So his full name is Lê Văn Phúc, and he was born in Bien Hoa province, which is now Dong Nai province of Vietnam, if anyone here have ever been to Vietnam. So at the age of 22, he joined his family and moved to the US. And he encountered this great chance to learn from a really special master who taught him about NLG. And so that he learned NLG, he applied it to himself, and after observing great outcomes, he then taught NLG to other people, starting with his family and then further to friends and people that he knows. And then later on, people just really like it. So they keep talking about it and sharing it with one another. So at the start of 2020, he went to Vietnam, and together with many NLG volunteers, they get to open up many NLG classes there. And then in 2021, he returned to the US, and he continues to provide classes online and offline in different countries, for example, Malaysia, Thailand, Germany, etc. And of course, around the US. Although he has been teaching this, and he is the founder of NLG, but he wishes us to just call him Mr. Lê, not master, not teacher. And if you know Vietnamese, then you would know that he often like for us to call him Uncle Phúc. So he explained that it's more like a family member kind of way to address him, and so it just makes this whole thing seems more friendly, and that's how he likes people to see him, as someone in their family, someone who's very friendly and is here to help. And so those are some of the points to note. And I will very quickly go through the class recommendation. We will only go through this once because this is the first session of level 1. Right. So let me share the screen with you. All right, so here are some class recommendations. Please arrange to attend the course on time to receive the activation fully. Being on time also show respect for the instructor and everyone in class. Also, it helps to avoid network congestion when too many people decide to join at the same time. Choose your study space, everyone. Make sure that you study in a quiet place, away from distraction, particularly during the activation and practice session. Number 3, copyright energy content without our permission is prohibited. Please do not record or distribute our video lecture online without our consent. All online courses will be recorded for tracking purposes on our energy platform. And you can attend our course via different devices, phone, iPad, laptop, and ensure to check your device before you attend our online course. For example, for network connection, battery, etc. And we will have time to ask questions. Sometimes we'll ask it at the end of the class if we have time for that, but usually if we don't, then that's why we recommend that you join our Telegram group so that you can ask your question there. So NLG means, it stands for năng lượng gốc in Vietnamese, which means the original energy source. It is a method provided by the NLG University to support anyone who seek assistance from NLG. And NLG courses are generally free. So with level 1 and 2, of course, as you are doing it now, you know that this is completely free. You don't need to pay for anything. And then as you get to level 3, there's a little bit of a contribution that you are asked to make just so we can maintain our program, and the fact that we're able to carry out many more online classes, free classes, level 1 and 2 for everyone. And basically these classes, we try to organize them every month. So just to provide people with the opportunity to come in and learn and experience it. So energy techniques and information is for educational purposes only and cannot be substituted for the advice or care of a medical professional. It does not replace doctor's diagnosis and medical treatment. We recommend that participants consult a doctor before undertaking alternative health improving methods. We will not accept any liability or warranty or not be responsible to any individual if you do not see any improvements. And we will talk about these, seeing improvements or not later on, and the reason why people's results vary. NLG participants are responsible for their current state of health and will need to monitor their progress. NLG participants need to have self-awareness and follow the instructions and formulas to achieve desired outcomes. And of course, as I've said, NLG is not a religion, neither is a meeting ground for ritual activities. NLG does not advise participants to give up or join any religion or political party. NLG Energy University does not participate in any religion or political institution of any country. Okay, so those are some of the general information for you. All right, so now, first of all, let's talk about the logos of NLG, which is really important. Okay, so we have here the logos of NLG. So these 3 logos in this order was introduced to us in April 23rd of 2023, which is also the grand opening of NLG Center here in California. So on that day, Mr. Lei actually shared with us that he's able to unlock the 3rd code of the Cosmic Divine Light logo over here, which is on the left-hand side of the screen. And this logo represents cosmic light that embraces all being. If you look back through the previous classes of NLG, then you would know that the logo was slightly different, and that is because Mr. Lei was still, basically decoding as he goes, and to learn new knowledge and then eventually unlock the energy within for us to be able to use it today. So the first logo, or the first version really, of the Cosmic Divine Light started off as Chống Đồng, so in other words, and that's Vietnamese, stand for bronze drum, which is a concept that I guess if you Google it, then you might have heard of it, or you would know how it looks initially. In the center, so when it was bronze drum, the center here is actually looks like a big sun with 14 arrays. And then when Mr. Lei gradually decoded to unlock the energy within, basically answering the question that will benefit humanity, and as well as demonstrate his level of love and morality. Then he get to decode it, and when you get to level 3, he will explain about it a lot more. Okay, so this is currently the latest version of this logo here, as we're able to unlock the energy within, and these contain great lessons for us to learn. And you can think about it as the energy as the theory, where we can enable specific projects and things that are more, I guess, visible for us. So from theory to practice, from energy to projects. And there's no limit to this cosmic divine light, which is why it allows us to do all sorts of amazing thing with it. And of course, to do the loving thing, that is, not to just do anything that we wish to do with it. And so do keep that in mind. And once we have these projects that enable benefits, then we can build, we can enable, we can maintain, and continuously support these loving home on the right hand side. And the loving home logo portraits, of course, you can see here a family with parents, with kids, and they have a really special connection with one another, with that genuine love and bond that we always look for. But you know, we don't really have that. If you look back into how our family function and how most families function, we don't really have that, even though that's something that a lot of us want to have. There's always some sort of issues going on. And so that is the thing that we want to enable for individuals and their family. And over here, you see that there's 13 heartbeats, which represent 12 months in a year, and the 13th heartbeat indicates humanity's connection, energy connection with what we call the outer space civilization. Okay, so I just mentioned the term outer space civilization, which may sound a little bit novel to some of you. And so what is it, and how can we make sense of that, and where does this energy source that we're interested in comes from? So at this beginner level, I will just share with you this really simple explanation to prepare you but not overwhelm you with information, so that when you go into the higher class, you're taking the little steps to understand more and more about it. So the outer space civilization, visualize it as it comes from a country, or it's actually a country that is further away, that is very advanced, and everything that exists there, they're just more sophisticated in terms of wisdom, knowledge, technology, science, virtues, etc. So everything about them is more advanced. And the good news is that they wish to help us with the things that we as human struggle with in the life that we live, and of course in this world. So this energy, it's not something new necessarily. It has existed for a very long time. But of course, for something that is so great, we need to find a way to connect with properly. So it's like, that in a particular room, there will be lots and lots of treasure and rewards and lots of amazing things in there. But if you don't have the key to open the door to that room, then even when you know that there's, things that would certainly benefits you, but you still can't get access to it. So when it comes to this energy frequency and the ways in which that you connect to this energy, as well as which is an element that determine how you would improve, how you would transform when you come into this energy method. It's which energy frequency you're able to connect to. So think about this. It's not just one energy source, and that's it, and that everyone is the same when they come into this method, but there are different frequency to it. So it's the same energy source, but different frequency. And think about it as when you go to school, you have primary school level, you have high school level, you have university level. And so whichever frequency that you're able to approach and connect to, that will allows you to do different things, and the level of effectiveness when you do those things. And of course, to resolve ultimately the three biggest challenges for humanity. So let's talk about the three challenges for humanity that NLG is very much interested to help to resolve. So here we have, okay, so we have, so the three problems for humanity includes wars and conflicts, poverty and hungers, illnesses and diseases. So you might think that these issues have very little to do with you. Maybe some of them are more relevant to you than others. But overall, of course, we need to ask the big question, and we need to look at this from a larger scale. But we also would like to encourage you to look at this from a more personal perspective. So illnesses and diseases, that's pretty straightforward. A lot of us have to deal with different conditions with different levels of severity. And or if you currently don't have to deal with that, then someone in your family, someone that you know, a friend, a colleague, or people that you see on the street every day. And of course, it's undeniable that we, that us humans suffer a lot and in many different ways around the world. And so, of course, we're not free from that. And when we talk about wars and conflicts, certainly it includes the things that are happening around the world these days, as well as from a more personal perspective. It is the conflicts, it is the things that you're unable to resolve within your family. When you say that you're really happy, but then deep down you know that you're not, but you always put on a facade to try to hide everything and to make things seem okay. And so it could be within family, it could be something that happened at work, relationship that you have with your colleagues, with your friends, with your boss. And so there's a lot of things that are happening around us and happen in our daily life that we have to deal with. That, these are the things that a lot of the time we don't get to change them. And so the fact that we learn this method to try to change ourselves, and when we get good enough to a certain point where we have the ability to then use this energy to work with other things, other aspects of our life, then that's when you will experience that level of, that it is really, really rewarding. And it's something that's just amazing to experience. And then the third issue, it's poverty and hunger. And so, of course, we still see a lot of people living under this condition. Or, we see homeless people every day on the street. And if we look at this from a more personal perspective, a lot of families out there, even though they might not seem like they have to live on poverty, but they still can't make a stable income to meet their basic needs. And so sometimes people look like they're doing okay, but behind that, they struggle to feed their family, they struggle to get education for their children. And every day seems like there's a different threat, to themselves, to their family, and that is, due to not having accessibility to these resources. So how do we go about resolving these issues, everyone? So here at NLG, we present the problems and of course we offer solutions. So here we hold on to the practice, not just the idea, but the practice of moral values in the 5 forms of love. So with moral values, certainly it is something that we would like to prioritize. And what I mean by that is that oftentimes we're very familiar already with this idea of morality and love. And maybe some of you might think that that's too cliche. The power of love resolve everything. But when we only talk about it, it's not going to do anything. We need to practice it. And we need to ask ourselves this question: if we already know about morality and love, then why is it that we still suffer? Why is it that other people around us still suffer? Why is it that we're unable to support one another, look out for one another? And so that's something to really think about. And why is it that when people are challenged, when people face an adversity, that they're willing to trade their moral values and their love to take advantage of other people, to take shortcuts, so that they can get to enjoy the benefits and they don't care about anyone else, or the aftermath that could affect lots and lots of peoples and families. And then when we talk about the 5 forms of love, which we will break it down for you further, but when we talk about it, before you come into NLG, it doesn't matter what you've done, whether you've shown love to other people, whether your practice of love and morality has actually been questionable or something like that. But as soon as you come into NLG, we encourage you to adapt more loving behaviors as you interact with other people, because that means that you're staying true to the nature of NLG. So if you're someone who you're really loving, you've been showing lots of love to yourself, to other people, and you continue to do that, that's excellent. But it doesn't stop there. So there's always room for improvement, and you can elevate it further and further as you go, because it's not just about having these elements, but as you get to a high class level, you realize that you need to upgrade it as you go as well. All right, and these are the keys to NLG, everyone. These are the core elements. If you want to succeed in this method, then you need to meet these prerequisites of NLG. Now, if you haven't been able to fulfill these elements, then it is time for you to really think about how you're going to practice them, so that you come into NLG and you can make the most out of this method. And the good news is that as soon as you regulate yourself to practice these elements, well, the sooner you do it, the sooner you will get to experience benefits, even at these beginners levels. All right, so now let's break down the 5 forms of love. So the 5 forms of love, they are self-love, love for family, love for country, love for humankind, and love for all living things. So now that you're in level 1, what we encourage you to work on is the first 2 forms of love. So self-love and love for family. And the fact that they are introduced in this particular sequence means that you will work your way up. Okay, so from self-love, so from number 1 to number 2 to 3, 4, and 5. And so in level 1, we will work on self-love and love for family. Now, some of you might ask, well, why is it that self-love comes first? It is the first forms of love that we need to refine. Why is that? Shouldn't that be the last one? Why are we putting ourselves, before other people? But let me just ask you this question. A lot of the time, we love putting forth ideas, but we're not really realistic about how we enable support for other people. We say to other people that I care about you, I want to help you, but then if we can't even support ourselves, if we don't keep ourselves in a state that is healthy, that is fit, and by that I mean mentally and physically healthy, and if we don't work on self-development, then how are we going to support people in the long term? Because remember that when it comes to supporting humanity, it's not a one-off occasion. It's not something that you do and then that's it, but you really look to refine your practice and your support as you go as well. And so if you don't feel okay, if you struggle in your daily life, then how are you going to help people? And in many cases, even though people propose that they want to help people, but then they ended up doing more damages, or they got halfway through and they can't stand it anymore because they're mentally and physically not ready for it. And so those are some of the things that we really need to be mindful of, and we need to be realistic about self-love. Now, of course, self-love here also means, for NLG, that you're able to maintain your energy frequency. And it points to your ability to control your emotion, to regulate them, and not to have your emotion control you. And so we will talk about that a little bit later as we touch on the topic of what we call the +1 -1 frequency. And so the second forms of love that we're going to talk about is love for country. And after that, as you get to, sorry, when you get to level 2, you will then work on love for country. Whereas at level 1, you will work on self-love and love for family. And then as you get to level 3, of course, our goals would be the last 2 forms of love. And it's not that you work on one form and you ignore the other one, it's that you making progress in practicing these forms of love while keeping the ones that you've already learned. So balancing your mind, as I've said, and we will link that to the +1 -1 frequency later on, really, really an important part of self-love. Because when you're in that state where you know why is it that you should maintain your composure, it will put yourself in this really great frequency to connect to the energy source. And of course, because you come in and we present to you that this energy is supposed to support you, you can utilize it and applies it to different things in your life. And for many of you, it started with health improvements. So if you want to get access to this energy, you need to match with the frequency. Remember when we talk about energy source and we talk about frequency, so you need to match with the frequency. And how do you match with the frequency? You need to put yourself in a loving state. And the +1 -1 frequency comes from that loving state that you're in. And as the results, when you connect properly, what happened is this energy will support the cells in your body, which is just as necessary and crucial for you as the oxygen that we breathe. Because basically this energy is, visualize it as the cell's favorite food. Okay, and it's also the mutual language in which we can communicate and let the cells in our body know the things that we would like for them to help us with. And then love of family, that's pretty straightforward already, and we've already talked about how we always long for that. We long for that family happiness and harmony within a family, but many of us struggle to do that. And so when it comes to this self-love, so basically we try to work on a smaller scale here, really working with yourself, so that we can proceed further. And so what happened is when you become the better version of yourself without asking other people to have to change themselves, then that builds this great discipline for you, and it builds you a really good foundation when you come into NLG. And a lot of the time when we talk about that love for family, a lot of people don't feel that. And a lot of people struggle to understand that because they don't feel that warmth. They don't feel that it's meaningful, that they're being with these people in their family as being meaningful. And a lot of the time there, even hatreds, resentment, stress, when we don't learn to express our love, in a positive way, in appropriate way to our loved ones, we think that by doing such and such that we're being loving. But as a matter of fact, it's not. And it hurts, the people in our family tremendously without us knowing. And a lot of the time, because they are family members, so we we don't learn to treasure them, and we don't learn to express our love in the way that they deserve. And there's, of course, that lack of understanding of gratitude as well. So we will start with yourself, self-love, working with yourself, and then working with the people who are in your immediate social circle, which is the people in your family. And so that's why love for family comes second. And of course, it's just good practice, everyone. That is, if you want to have good things to come to you, if you want to meet good people, you have good opportunity, then you need to show kindness first. It starts with self-love, and it starts with love from family. And remember that the outer space civilization, as we've already said, that they're very advanced, and they will guide us on this journey. They are very precise, they are really fair. And so that's why one of Mr. Lay's favorite saying is that you cannot cheat when you come into energy. That's the one thing that you absolutely cannot do. Because the thing is, as instructors, and of course, Mr. Lay as the founder, he's not going to be there to supervise you or, trying to nitpick the things that you do. But once you connect with this energy, it is the energy frequency that you cannot fake. So whatever it is that you say to people or pretend to people, you think that you can get away with it. And a lot of the time people trust you for that. And people believe you, that person is exactly how he or she says he or she's going to be. And so that's fine for you. But everything that you do, it associates with this energy frequency that you're going to enable. And because it is your own journey, you cannot ask anyone to manipulate that. That's something that you need to try for yourself to do, to upgrade that frequency, to really work on it so that it's in sync with the loving energy, the +1 -1 frequency, or else, it's not going to work. And so that's also the reason why lots of people coming into NLG and they experience a variety of improvements, from very little improvements, very few improvements to, a wide range of improvements, even at level 1 and 2. And also the reason why we need to work on self-love, maintaining our composure, is because there's a lot of things out there that we can't control. And it's not our job to control those things. We don't get to control how people think and how people react to certain situation. We can't control how the weather is going to be like today. I mean, generally, that is. And we certainly can't, and there's a lot of things that we can't really make sense of. But what we can do is that self-control and is that regulations of behaviors, of emotions, to make sure that we are in that +1 -1 frequency for us to utilize and connect to this energy source properly. And from there, we can use this energy to then in return support us in those type of situations. Okay, so let's talk about the +1 -1 frequency, which is a really interesting topic. There will be some extra notes on the screen, but I will not go through that. I will just explain it in my own words because you can read what's the information on the screen there. So the +1 -1 frequency is, of course, really essential. And think about it as the favorite frequency for the cells in our body. This is exactly what they need. And because we haven't been able to connect properly to this frequency, so the cells in our body, they've been starved for a very long time. And the reason why it is the cell's favorite frequency is because they connect and they receive. It's sort of like you give them, really great meal. But this time it's from the outer space civilization, the one who's really advanced and they're here to help us. And it only happens when we regulate ourselves into that frequency. It's not that the cells in our body they automatically connect to this frequency. They need us as the, I guess you can think about it as like the bridge that connects this energy to the cells in our body. And so that's why a lot of people experience health improvements, because the cells in our body, when they're in a state where they can function properly, they're the one who help us to heal and all that. So that's from the cell's perspective. So it's not that we practice this energy and then magically we get to improve or anything like that. There's really clear explanation from Mr. Lay of how the cells in our body actually help us to improve. So the plus one minus one frequency is a concept that can be formed through our flows of thoughts. It is our self-regulation, and it's something that we can create for ourselves. It is something that comes with practice. It doesn't come naturally. And the good news is that we're all very capable of doing it, everyone. We're all very capable of positioning ourselves into that state of plus one minus one through the practice of love and morality, because we are loving creatures, by nature. It's just that sometimes we forget, sometimes we choose to ignore it so that we can take shortcuts. But after all, when you get to a point where you hit a dead end, you will come back to love and morality. You will come back because of the things that you've witnessed and of the things that you've experienced. Now, if you don't have love, you don't have that energy connection, then of course the outcome will be very limited. The connection of the cells with that energy is very limited. And of course, it's sort of like there's a great meals that the cells want to have, but then they don't get access to it. So it's there, and that's the worst feeling, that you know that it's there, but you can't get to it. Now, it is not to say that we cannot have emotion, because of course emotion is a part of us. It doesn't mean that we cannot be upset or, excited or something like that. It's more so to do with how we deal with our emotion, how we regulate it. So let's say before, if you are upset at something, it may goes for days and days. And for some people, it continues for months or even years. When you resent someone so much, that resentment sticks with you for years and years. But when you learn energy, you understand the benefits of the plus one, minus one frequency. You understand the benefits of this energy. It is easier for you to, and it's, well, I guess you'll be more willing to, hopefully, to regulate yourself to the right frequency. And you will see the reason why it's not as beneficial to continue to hold on to these resentment and hatreds and bitterness towards something or towards someone. And so with that, you have a much more convincing, reason as to why you should maintain yourself in a state of composure. And then we can go a step further and ask ourselves, within a day, how many hours can we maintain ourselves in the plus one, minus one? When something happens, when you encounter a situation, how well can you maintain your plus one, minus one frequency? Because a lot of the time when nothing happened, and we might think, I'm such a loving person, I'm so calm, and I'm doing so well today. But then something happened to you, you got an unexpected news, you have someone, doing something to you or saying something to you that you don't like. And that's the moment that you really need to remind yourself of this plus one, minus one frequency. Am I going to react badly to this? Am I going to, talk back to this person, to these people, and trying to show them that, I am capable of taking revenge or something like that? And so these decisions determine how well you connect with the plus one, minus one frequency. And of course, in other words, connecting to the energy source that we're interested in. And of course, when you see someone doing something negative, the lesson there is don't repeat it. If someone swear at you, someone curse at you, chances are, if you want to learn the lesson, don't curse back at them. Don't try to be bitter about it. Because what you're doing then, even though you think that you're winning the situation by, making them feel bad, but what you're actually doing is that you're losing that frequency and you're not actually learning the lesson. You know that it's uncomfortable, that it's very upsetting when someone do or say something really mean to another person, and yet you're repeating the same mistake. And because you're repeating the same mistake, you don't get to learn that lesson, everyone. So at NLG, we try to encourage our participant to not normalize being mean and, don't try to justify it with any reasons at all. The only thing that you should really think about is your frequency, regardless of the situation. It is your frequency that you can control. It is the things that you can do, and it has a much deeper meaning and great benefits. And if you go to level 3 and level 4, you would know about that. It is really, really amazing. So at this foundation level, of course, not all of your all of your questions will be answered, but just give you a good start to this, to the introduction of NLG, and hopefully that you have an open mind to really take in this information. All right, so now moving on to one of our favorite comparison. We use this comparison a lot to try to explain to participants the necessity to practice both the formulas as well as the elements of love and morality with quality and consistency. So we know that for a chicken for an egg to hatch properly, then the mother hen needs to spend 21 days with the eggs, and of course with the right temperature, the right techniques, that the egg can then hatch into chick. Now, for many of you, it is equivalent to when you get your activation. So you need to be in a mindset to receive the activation fully, which means an open mind, a loving presence, and certainly no doubt, no hesitation. Just come in because you've already spent time on this, you already put in your effort, might as well make the most out of it and not hesitate when it comes to learning something new. And it also points to the consistency in your practice of the formulas. Our formulas has been standardized by Mr. Lei, the founder of this method. And so we have very specific information for you to follow, such as the time in which you will spend to practice each of the formulas. And it's actually pretty short. It's only 5 minutes and 30 seconds per formulas. And as you get to high class levels, it's even shorter. It's only 3 minutes and 30 seconds. So the point is to really read and review the formulas very carefully. And if you have any question, it is always good to ask before you dive into practicing the formulas. Now, if the formulas instruct you to, for example, keep your eyes open the entire time when you practice, please do that. I understand that some of you may be familiar with other energy method or maybe meditation or something like that, but it's always, always good to follow the instructions of a method very closely, and not to try to mix and match different things from other methods. And Mr. Lei will explain about this in level 3, the topic of mixing the method, misappropriating the method, and how it will brings you 0 benefits. Now, some people actually ask, why is it that it has to be 5 minutes and 30 seconds when we practice the formulas? My answer to you when it comes to that is the time is set by Mr. Lay. He studied about it, he decided on it, and it's very much like asking why this phone operates on iOS and then the other phone operates on Android. It's just because of how they program. So that's just a simple answer to that question. All right, so we have done pretty well with the content today. So I will now go ahead and activate everyone for the brain cell activation. And this is the first activation. We will only have one activation today, and this will be the first one. And then tomorrow is the second one. Remember that for level 1, you need to get both of these energy activation. They are different. They're not the same. So make sure that if you take today's class, then also participate in tomorrow's class to fully receive this activation. So what you would do to receive this activation from me, you will look at my forehead and you will visualize energy going from my forehead into your brain continuously. And I would actually show you a demonstration video of how to do that. And I will set my timer to 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's how long the activation will go for. And then, and of course, I will have my eyes closed, so don't mind me, just look at my forehead. And this is level 1 energy activation. So any of you here who's in level 2, 3, 4, 5, please look away. Don't receive this activation. And of course, those of you who are here for level 1, and if you're still in level 1, you've completed level 1 before, and you're still in level 1, then feel free to receive this energy activation. But if you've already attended level 2, please do not receive this, okay? Or else your energy frequency will go back to that of level 1. All right, so I will show you the demonstration video now. Okay, so you can see on the screen here. So you look at my forehead. So visualize that this is you. So you will look at my forehead and you visualize energy going from my forehead going into your brain, just like that. And this is something that you would visualize constantly, all the way until the timer, all the way until the alarm rings. Okay, so continue to do that. So it's just one ongoing action. So that's how you visualize it. And don't have to worry about what the energy looks like, what color, or anything like that. Just visualize it and just make it a natural process for you. All right, and the other thing is that I will set my timer to 1 minute and 30 seconds, and I want everyone to know that, so that during the energy activation, if, and hopefully it doesn't happen, but if you experience technical issue, if all of a sudden you're locked out, or you can't get access to YouTube anymore or whatever, just make sure that you continue to visualize energy coming into your brain, because I'm still sitting here and transmit the energy to you. I'm transmitting the activation to you. And so because this is happening in real time, of course, it's happening in real time because it has that live button, that red button that indicates that this is a live stream. Whereas if you rewatch it at a later time, let's say tonight, if you want to rewatch this again to revise the content, then of course, listening to the content, it's okay. But you cannot receive the energy activation anymore when you rewatch this. These activations only work in real time. When our video indicates that it is alive, as in it is a live stream, when you see the little red dot on the screen and it has the word live on it, then you know that it is a live stream. Okay, so just a heads up. And if you experience any technical issue, as I've said, continue to receive it and try to estimate 1 minute and 30 seconds. And then afterwards, you can log back in and you can continue to listen to the content. Okay, so let's get started, everyone. I will set my timer to 1 minute and 30 seconds here. And of course, you understand how to receive this activation already. So let's get started. Okay, and we have completed the energy activation. So now what I would like for us to do together is I will walk you through the formula. So this is the first formula that you will be practicing, everyone. And so I will guide you through it. So that you know exactly how to practice it when you're at home. And also this particular formula, which is the brain cell activation frequency formula, we will only practice it today. And then when we get to the second session, which is tomorrow, we will no longer practice this. And so this is your chance, everyone, to experience this energy. And so let's practice this together now after we go through the step-by-step instruction. All right, and make sure that you sit somewhere that you feel calm and you feel focused. And if you're distracted for more than 30 seconds, then make sure that you start again. Okay, and something else is that don't sit in front of a fan or AC because you might not feel that warmth of energy very clearly, and it can also be very distracting. And of course, because we practice this for 5 minutes and 30 seconds, and actually throughout all of energy formulas, you can blink, because sometimes people stare at a certain point on the wall or something like that for 5 minutes and 30 seconds. And then afterwards they say, oh, I feel so dizzy. Don't do that. You can blink, you can cough, you can sneeze, whatever. But, try to sit still, try to maintain your focus. And after, let's say you sneeze, you can always, come back and continue. Only when you're distracted for more than 30 seconds that we recommend that you start again. Just discard that practice session and start again, particularly when your mind wanders off somewhere. Let's say you're sitting and you're practicing it, and then all of a sudden you're thinking about dinner, or you're thinking about a dress that you really like. And if you keep thinking about it and get distracted from the actual, practice of the formulas, then make sure that you discard that and you come back again. You can sit in any position that you like as long as you feel comfortable. And if you are unwell, if you have a condition where you can't sit, but you have to lie down, you can still practice this formula while lying down. And also just some notes for everyone is that when you receive any activation, any energy activation, if you feel like your forehead, it's really tense, or if you feel like you have like a mild headache, there's a techniques that we usually tell people that can help to alleviate those kind of feelings. Is that you will breathe in through your nose for 3 seconds, and you will breathe out through your mouth for 6 seconds. So basically it's a short inhale through the nose, long exhale through the mouth. And you do that 3 times. And that would help to get rid of the excess energy. So let's have a read here on the formula. Is it, and always go through all of the notes, go through all of the details on a formula, because it's always good to understand exactly what it is that they ask you to do. So here it said, note, when practicing, keep your eyes open and direct energy accordingly. Please do that. I understand that some people, when you practice meditation, you often close your eyes and you find that it's easier for you to focus. But Mr. Lei, and this is so good, Mr. Lei ways of helping people to train themselves to be calm in all situations. And part of it is by keeping your eyes open. While you practice, you see everything, you can hear everything, and you feel everything. But you can maintain, and you train yourself to maintain that focus on the things that is important to you. And that, it's really powerful. So really try to work with it. It may not be an easy skill at first, but it will come with practice. And then you look here, you will see the practice duration. This will be according to your age. You as the practitioner, this will be according to your age. So if you're above 18 years old, your practice time will be 5 minutes and 30 seconds. If you're 13 to 18 years old, your practice time is 3 minutes and 30 seconds. And if you have children from 8 to 12 years old, their practice time will be 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So have a read here. With NLG formulas, we divide the formulas into specific steps for you to follow. So of course you'll go from 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Now, every step in a formula, so 1, 2, 3, 4, you will recite them silently in your head once. Okay, you don't repeat them over and over again. You only repeat them once. You finish with step 1, you move on immediately to step 2, and then step 3, and then step 4. You don't repeat any of the steps while you practice, or, during one session, that is. So in your head, you will recite all of the steps, as well as all of these verbs that instruct you what to do. And remember that with NLG formulas, it's not just about, saying these things in your head, but it's about directing energy. It instructs you on how you direct your energy. Sorry, not your energy, but the energy source that we're interested in. It is not your energy. I apologize for that. So have a look here. So step 1 is it receive cosmic divine light, new era energy level 1, frequency band, brain cell activation frequency. So you would think that in your head here, and think about this as like a command. Okay, it's sort of like a really clear request for the cells in your body to know exactly what to do. And then step 2, receive energy into the brain. What it means is that you visualize energy from outer space. Don't have to think about what colors, what it looks like. Just visualize it. Make it a natural thing for you. Visualize energy from outer space entering the brain right here. And then in your head, once again, because you're following step 2 here, in your head, you would recite silently, receive first time. And when you say receive, you visualize energy going into your brain. And then you wait for 3 to 5 seconds. And then you recite in your head, receive second time. And when you recite that, of course, you visualize energy coming in. And similarly, receive third time. Okay. And every time that you receive energy, you have to wait 3 to 5 seconds in between. And then step 3, send energy from the brain to the ERC. So the ERC is the part at the back of your neck. So it's like right where your neck and your shoulder meets. And so right here at the back of the neck, that is the ERC. And that is short for Energy Reception Center. So you send energy from the brain into the ERC send first time, and then you wait 3 to 5 seconds, send second time, send third time. Okay, and every time that you recite send, you're sending it, like literally sending it down to the ERC. You don't just recite that in your head and then visualize nothing. Every time that you recite something in your head, you need to visualize energy, directing it to the area that you wish to direct it. And this time it is the ERC. And then step 4, continuously direct energy into the brain, that is from outer space, entering the brain, and transmit it into the ERC. Okay, so basically, because for most of you, you're above 18, so your practice time will be 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So what happened is it might take you roughly 45 seconds to 50 seconds to complete and recite all of these steps here from 1 to 3. And then when you get to step 4, that's the step where you will devote most of your time. And important notes here, it doesn't mean that you repeat it over and over and over again. No, you don't repeat it over again. You only recite it in your head once. So in your head, you think continuously direct energy into the brain and transmit it into the ERC. Let the warmth of energy spread on its own until alarm rings. So you only recite that once in your head. But what happened next is that you follow this exact instruction. You will continuously direct energy. So for the remaining of that 5 minutes and 30 seconds, you will direct energy. You don't need to repeat this in your head. You only visualize energy and directing it according to the instruction that they give you in step 4. Okay, don't go back to step 1, 2, 3. Don't do that. The remaining time you spend on step 4. Okay, so I think that that's very clear now. I need to really specify that. There were participants who didn't really understand, and what they did was repeating this step 4 over and over again, making that mistake of repeating it and not actually directing energy. And then she ended up with a headache. And so after she shared with us the story, and we instruct her of how to practice correctly, and afterwards she has no issue at all. And so that's something to note as well, is that if you practice and you have any question, if you feel like you're experiencing something that you're a little bit worried about, that you can't really make sense of, it's always good to ask us questions to clarify any of your confusions. All right, so now we will practice this formula together, everyone. I will actually play for you an audio, a demonstration audio. And the purpose of this is to make sure that you understand the pace when you practice it by yourself. And it also helps you to just have good practice when you practice it by yourself at home. Okay, so let's practice this. And I will leave the formula on the screen here so that you can see as well. This is practice session for brain cell activation frequency. Timer 5 minutes and 30 seconds for participant above 18 years old. Step 1. Recite silently once.
Receive Cosmic Divilite New Era NOG Level 1 Frequency Band. Brain Cell Activation Frequency. Step 2. Receive energy into the brain. Receive first time. Receive second time. Receive third time. Step 3. Send energy from the brain into the ERC. Send first time. Send second time. Send third time. Step 4. Continuously direct energy into the brain and transmit it into the ERC. Let the warmth of energy spread on its own until alarm rings.
Okay, and we have completed the practice together. So congratulations, everyone. Now, when you practice this formula by yourself, you will do that anywhere from 1 to 3 times. It depends on you, and we encourage you to really give it a go because it's a great way for you to learn about this energy and feel that energy. All right, so I will post more notes about that in our Telegram groups. And so now I'd like to share with you our Telegram QR code, and you can go ahead and scan it. So we have here. So the first one is just the general notification channel. And then the second one is the level 1 and 2 English channel. That's where you receive posts, announcements, and it's mainly for our admin to monitor that channel. It means that you can't really comment or ask questions. So we created a chat group as well, which is the third one for level 1 and 2 participants, and you can certainly ask your question there. And certainly if you are confused about something, feel free to post your question. And we'll go ahead and post the formulas on our Telegram groups so that you can get access to it. Now, if for some reason right now you're not available to scan this QR code, you can always come back to this part of the video. After this live stream ends, it will automatically be posted on our Facebook and YouTube. So you can always come back to this part and scan these codes and make sure that you get access to the formulas that we practiced just now. All right. So I think that, we've already go a little bit over time. So let's just do a quick summary before we wrapped up this class. So today we introduce you to NLG energy, which is a practice-based method which helps you to thrive in many aspects of your life. And the ways in which that we're going to utilize this energy, it's through having energy connection. And to have energy connection, you need to regulate yourself according to the +1 -1 frequency. And how do you get that frequency? It is through your practice of love and morality on a daily basis, through the way that you treat other people, the way that you present yourself, the way that you treat yourself. So build a really strong understanding of these elements is a great foundation for these beginner levels and to enable greater miracles to come to you, the transformation to come to you, even at this foundation level, and of course, in the high class levels as you get to them. So thank you everyone for participating in today's class. And on behalf of all participants today, I'd like to express gratitude to our, to the Outer Space Civilization, and of course to Mr. Lee, our founder. A huge thank you to those who worked tirelessly behind the scene to make this program work. Thank you everyone very much for your participation, and I will see you in tomorrow's session. Remember that level 1 consists of 2 sessions. It will be today and tomorrow at the same time. So enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. If it's really late where you are, then good night. And I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.